Okay, welcome to our final session of the day one. Again, a couple household reminders. Please silence your cell phones. There's no flash photography allowed, nor recording of any kind, including your cell phone and your tablet. We have our ladies over here with the complete transcript of the press conference that will be provided to you. The peak attendance at today's practice session was 13,695. 13,695. So without further ado, we want to welcome the Montana Grizzlies, and at this time we entertain questions for our student athletes. Please raise your hand. We have a microphone holder to you. Please give your name and your outlet. Thank you. Who's ambitious here? I'll go back row in the yellow.
Guys, Matt Shepard, University of Michigan basketball. You guys played Penn State earlier this year, obviously from the Big Ten. What kind of gauge did that give you for your game against Michigan, and how much have you changed since that?
Start off with Fabian, and then we go to Ahmad.
That was early in our season, but it was a test against a Power 5 conference, and obviously the same conference as Michigan. So we thought we got some good things out of that game, some things we did well, but it just got away from us down the stretch of that game. But yeah, as I said, that was the second game of our season. We've improved a lot since then, and we've tightened up some things, and we feel very confident.
Yeah, Penn State was a real physical team, so that's the main thing we took away from that game. And Michigan is similar, in that regard. They're real physical, and they try to deny the passing lane. So we really learn how to play against that, and we're try to prepare for that for tomorrow.
Michael?
To add on top of what these guys said, that's the reason why we schedule those kind of games in November, to be prepared for moments like this when we match up with a team like Michigan, another Big Ten rival. We want to be able to take the things we did in that game. Like Fab said, it was our second game of the season. We're a lot better team. We learned a lot from that. I feel like we're going to be able to take those things and apply them tomorrow pretty well.
Other questions in the front, in the blue here on the aisle?
Vince Bagby with KECI in Missoula. For you guys, getting here was not easy, having to know that you had to win all 3 games in Reno, as opposed to Michigan, who's a team that could get in that large. How much do you think playing pressure basketball the week before this gets you guys ready for this kind of an atmosphere?
Start with Fabian again.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot. It helps us not get caught up in the moment too much. Last week we weren't thinking ahead too much. We're thinking, okay, we got a game Thursday, we'll take care of that. And then if things go our way, we'll think about the next one. So just that one game at a time mentality that, try to keep us focused on the game and not try to get caught up too much in the moment and the environment surrounding it. I think that was big time, and we had that very recently. So yeah, everyone's just focused on the game. We're not getting caught up in the moment too much. So I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, we had 3, tough games that we had to grind out, coming off the first one. Every game we came from behind in, so I think that really gave us a tough test that we actually needed, going into, March Madness, So that was the main thing we could take away, is that every game's not going to be easy, and it's March now, so anything could happen. I feel like we had a little bit of luck that we actually needed, because we playing against Northern Colorado is tied up with 1 second to go. They missed both free throws, and we ended up grinding that game out in overtime, and that's the type of things you need in order to win. So I think the luck's been on our side. We're just going to try to just keep that going.
I think winning 3 games in a row in a win-to-go-home tournament was the perfect setup for a game like this. A lot is on the line, just like it was last week. So we know that we can't afford to make mistakes. We were fortunate enough to come back from behind those games. We know that Thursday is going to be different. A team like Michigan, we're not going to be able to have a slow start and expect to be in a great position. So we're going to really have to execute well from the start, and I feel like we're in a good position to do that.
Front row on the right.
Riley Corcoran, Montana Radio. How have you guys been able this week to balance, to enjoy this process, but also prepare yourselves for an opportunity to pull off maybe the biggest win in school history? And what's the support been like from friends and family all week long after you guys were announced?
It's been absolutely incredible this week. We've been working for this opportunity since April last year. Since, 2 weeks after the season finished, we had our minds focused on this moment. So we've been looking to this for a long time and putting in work, and to be here is really cool. But as I said, we were in that one game at a time mentality, and and the support from everyone in the community, from friends, from family, has been absolutely incredible. And to be in this opportunity, to be on this stage is, it's once in a lifetime.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Fab. You know, like the support has been like unreal. You know, cheerleaders, the band, just family, just the fans, just everybody in Missoula, just across the country, just been supporting us. You know, and it's been great. Like this week, we got here yesterday. You know, we had a lot of people travel with us, so we definitely know that we have a lot of supporters. So I think the main thing for us is just take what we know and just try to take it into tomorrow into the game.
Coach Trav told us we've earned the right to enjoy this moment we have, and like these guys have said, it's been great. The support from the fans, from the community, from friends, family has been amazing. We have a great travel party. The administrators, the dance team, the band, they're all really excited to be here just like us. At some point, you know, we're going to have to, you know, kind of transition over to, okay, we have a game tomorrow to win. Like, it's a lot of fun, yeah, but we're not just here to, you know, have fun. Like, we worked hard, like Fab said, since April, and we're going to try to make the most of our opportunity tomorrow night.
Okay, in the back, on the right side. Right, you, sir. There you go.
Jeff Seidel, Detroit Free Press. For years, Michigan's been known for their offense, but this year they're playing a lot better defense. I wonder what your impressions are of their D, as well as Simpson, the point guard.
Well, yeah, they're one of the hottest teams in the country right now. They're just coming off a great tournament win in the Big Ten. And and they're doing that because of their defense, but we've seen some things that we're familiar with, a similar defensive scheme. We played for a couple of years, the Pack, and you know, we think we have some things to attack, and we're going to have to execute really well to be successful tomorrow night. And Simpson, point guard, from what we've seen, he's a quick athlete, a great finisher around the rim. So it's going to be a big test to try to slow him down, and keep him out of the paint.
Yeah, Michigan plays pack line defense, so they try to pack it in and allow you to shoot threes, contested threes at that. That's actually how we played defense last year. So like it's something that we've seen before. So we're just going to try to just get the ball in the spots that we need to get it to. And Simpson, he's a real good point guard. He's real good, finding his teammates, getting in the lane, making plays for others, and then, like Fab said, he can also finish for himself. So we're going to try to just keep him out the paint and then just go from there.
Yeah, my teammates said it best. They play like that pack line defense. We're a little familiar with that. We know that they like to, speed people up, get them out of their rhythm. And for the point guard, Xavier, he's from what I've seen, I like the way he kind of runs the show. He runs his team very well, gets guys the ball in the right opportunity, in the right places. And like they said, too, he's a great finisher. So it's going to be a tough task to slow him down.
In the back, on the right.
Who do they play most like who you have played, if not this year, sometime in your career? Who do you liken them to?
Probably if one team that is similar is like a Weber State type in our conference, at least. I think especially the earlier years where they execute really well, don't make mistakes, don't turn the ball over, very well coached team. And for a long time, Weber State had a dominant big man in Joel Bollenboy, who I think we've all played against, and he had that perimeter touch as well. Maybe not quite as lethal from outside as Wagner, but that's probably the one team that we've seen year in year out that can sort of give us something that resembles a Michigan basketball game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Probably like Weber, like last year we played against the Oregon team, that kind of denied, in the passing lanes, and they had like good guards and good wings that would just push the ball, try to get the ball up the court and just play fast. But so probably like Weber and Oregon.
Yeah, same. Weber and Oregon. Weber for the reasons Fab mentioned. Oregon as well. They had Boucher, who's a big who can kind of stretch the floor out a little bit. He was also a great rim protector. That was what he did well. But in terms of running their offense, executing, patience, that's a lot of similarities I've seen with Michigan. And I know Michigan plays. They play at their own pace. They have long possessions, and they don't really turn the ball over very much. So we're gonna have to do a good job of speeding them up, getting them out of what they like to do.
Stay on the left side of the aisle.
This is for Ahmad. For you, being the only guy on the team with NCAA tournament experience at Oregon, is there anything you've been able to pass along to the other players, or any sort of experiences you've been able to share?
Yeah, the environment is going to be real hostile tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of fans, especially Michigan fans here. just rooting for them. We're going to have some fans 'cause like I said, we're the underdog. So, but we just got to just stay poised, stick with our game plan. Coach Trav and the other coaches do a good job of just trying to just give us a specific game plan and so if we just stick to that, I feel like we'll be fine. But we played Penn State, Pitt, and they had, big crowds. So it's not like it's something that we're not used to. So as long as we just stick with our game plan and, just play how we were playing these last couple of months, and I feel like we'll be fine.
Got time for a couple more questions. Front row in the blue.
For you guys, that game against Eastern in the Big Sky title, that second half, you had 18 stops and 19 possessions on defense. Do you feel like you're playing your best defense of the year right now? And would you say that's an identity of this team as a priority to play defense?
100%. We pride ourselves on defense, and I think that's how it's been every year I've been here with Coach Trav. And we always look out throughout the season what our defensive record is, what our statistics are in the conference, and it is the identity of this team. We work on that. As I said, when people are working on their skills and stuff in April, we're working on our defense and our defensive schemes and how we can get better at stuff from there. And it's how we win games. Even when our offense isn't firing at 100%, we have our defense to rely on. And that second half kind of exemplified that, and we just made life miserable for Easton and their perimeter plays in terms of bringing up the court and being comfortable. And I think for us to have any sort of success, we're going to have to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Coming off of that half, I feel like that was probably our best half of the season as far as defense goes. Like you said, 18 stops and 19 possessions. But it's just like Trav said, just compete with desperation. That's been like our motto like the whole year. So we knew that if we didn't do that, we weren't going to win that game. So we've been just trying to just stick with that, scheme, just competing with desperation.
I think that we're playing our best defense of the year. There was a point during conference where, we kind of slipped up a little bit, and Coach Shakir pulled up some film of how we were playing defense in December. We had a good stretch, and I feel like that did a good job of, reminding us of where we can be defensively. So that was a good little wake-up call for us, and I feel like it translated well. We played great defense, like you said, last game, 18 stops out of 19 possessions. That's definitely something we hang our hat on. Like Fab said, we put a lot of work in our defensive schemes. We really just take pride in it. When our offense isn't clicking very well, we know that we can rely on our defense to keep us in the game, and eventually our offense will start working for us. So it's worked out pretty well.
Time for one final question. Back up front.
Just for you guys, what's the message from Coach Ben as far as enjoying yourselves, knowing that you've earned a right here, and of course, obviously focusing on a business trip and trying to get a win? Do you get to at least enjoy the experience a little bit while still being able to stay focused?
It's something that we've been told is this game is the same as every other we've gone into this year, and that we expect to walk out with a win, and nothing's changed. We need to have the right mentality to do that. Obviously, this is going to be a big test against a bigger school that we're probably used to playing, but every game, same message is we expect to win, and to do that, we need to execute the game plan that the coaches put out for us and do it to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, Coach Trav has definitely, told us that we definitely deserve to be here and just enjoy it, but it's definitely, like Fab said, we are here to get a win, so we're trying to do anything we could do to get the win. Practice has still been tough, and, we're still focused. Like, guys staying focused. We're getting good rest, good recovery, so, nothing has really changed.
Yeah, just on top of what these guys said, nothing's really changed. We're here, obviously, to enjoy ourselves. We've earned the right to be here. This is just to make it to this tournament is a huge accomplishment in and of itself, being from a one-bid league. And then now it's our time to represent our conference. So we're gonna have to come out, like Fab said, every game we expect to come out victorious. That's why we game plan. That's why we practice. We scout. We do everything we can to prepare ourselves for the game. So I feel like today's kind of the last day. We'll have the open practice. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna enjoy it. But once we get back to the hotel, it's our mood is really gonna shift to Michigan and trying to do everything we can to be successful.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have Coach DeCure up here shortly. Thank you. this time, we're pleased to have with us head coach of Montana, Travis DeCuire, the Grizzlies, the number 14 seed in the West Region. Big Sky Conference champs, record of 26-7. This is their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2013. Coach, welcome to Wichita, and let's assess scouting report on Michigan.
Phenomenal basketball team. I'm reading right here. It says, please speak up. I'm trying my best. My voice has been gone for about a month, so please bear with me. Tough matchup. You know, very experienced team, experienced program. You know, anytime you're up against a program that expects to be in the NCAA tournament every year, you're going to have a tough task. Take care of the ball, shoot the ball, defend. That's pretty much the scenario in winning, and they do it about as well as anyone in the country. We look forward to this opportunity. You know, our defense is what got us here. We turn people over, we out-rebound people, and then we execute offensively as well. We've got some guys that can put the ball in the basket, great depth, versatility. So we look forward to every opportunity we have to find ways to create our own advantages, and if we can keep ourselves in the game early, gain some confidence as the game progresses, you know, the key for us is just find ways to change that assist-to-turnover ratio for them and win the glass. If we can do that, I think we have a chance.
Okay, at this time, we're opening up for questions. Please raise your hand, and we'll have a microphone holder over your way. Again, no flash photography is allowed or recording of any kind, including cell phone and tablet. Okay, in the front in the blue here. First question.
Coach, that second half against Eastern, that defensive, just entire half, is that about the best defense you've played this year, and do you guys feel the momentum from that heading into the tournament?
Yes. We've had moments, you know, second half at Georgia State, second half in the Legends Classic against Santa Barbara, and then it kind of carried over from there. In December, we pretty much played like that almost every game with the 3 wins at home and then to go to University of Washington and go down the stretch and come close to a victory there. So it became a habit in December. And you learn better from losses than wins, and we had a streak of wins, and I think that the consistency faded a little bit, and it took a couple losses for us to get it back. Unfortunately for us, we found our mojo at the end of February, early March, and here we are. When we needed it most, it performed for us. And so we look forward to have an opportunity to go out and showcase what we've done defensively all year on a national stage.
In the front row here, in the gray, right in the middle.
Coach, you've said multiple times this year this is probably your favorite group you've been able to coach. What factors make this team different than any other team you've had?
No, I love every group I've ever coached. So, you know, I don't want that to be taken wrong. But there's a relationship that you build, a bond that you have with each team. And this is a group that I've had the longest of any. And so there's some heartfelt relationships that we have, and when you're battle-tested together after recruiting a group and going to war with a group, you kind of fall in love with them, you know. And I think what separates them from what I've had in the past is the chip that these guys carry on their shoulders individually and collectively. We've got a group of young men that were either recruited at a higher level or believe that they should have been recruited at a higher level. And every opportunity they've had to prove that, they've risen to that occasion. Whether it was at Pitt, Stanford, Washington, Penn State, we've had guys step up and play to that level. And we're just waiting for that opportunity to have all of those guys do it on the same night.
In the back on the aisle, in the gray.
Hey, Coach, Matt Craig from The Athletic. I know your mantra all season is compete with desperation. I guess, for lack of a better way of saying this, like, who's the most desperate player on the team? Or is there one player that really embodies that mantra?
That's a tough one. You asked me to pick a favorite player. I can't do that. But the guy that probably exemplifies what we stand for in that regard is probably Michael Guinea. He plays, his motor is revved up at a very high level on both sides of the ball. And that's typically what we're talking about when we talk about competing with desperation, is a guy that plays full speed as hard as he can for 40 minutes. And Mike is probably the closest to that of anyone on our team.
In the back, in the yellow on the aisle.
Coach, when you watch the film of Michigan, what jumps out at you more, their offensive ability or their defensive ability, and why?
To the common eye, the offense always stands out the most because you see the ball go through the net. You see the deep threes and things like that. But I think their defense frustrates you into bad shots. And then your turnovers becomes extra possessions for them. And a team that's as efficient as them offensively, you can't afford to give them extra possessions. You'll never get yourself out of a hole. So I think the turnovers that they force, the bad shots that they force, a lot of things that they do don't show up on the stat sheet. So the games I've watched, I see guys settle for just okay shots, not great shots, 30% shots. And if you have enough will inside of you to move the ball, make them work around, space them, and get the best shot you can get every possession, then you'll give yourself an opportunity to win. But not very many teams have done that.
Other questions for the coach? Still have about 5 minutes here. Gonna stay back there.
Just as a follow-up, what makes you believe your team has that patience and that will to do exactly what you just said?
Am I giving you a scouting report? I'm just saying you got Michigan on. I'm joking. I'm joking. Our schedule. You know, we've scheduled the best competition we can every year in November, December. And I think our conference is as strong as it's been in 20 years. And so I think when you play against a high-level competition and you play against a ton of different styles, defensively, offensively, you're forced to make changes through the course of the game. So you prepare for one style on a Thursday. On a Saturday, you prepare for another. And through our schedule, we've played similar basketball teams, similar defensively and more so offensively in terms of their offense. And so the terminologies, the plan, the things that we've discussed with our team for the last 3 days aren't new. And the patience is something that you fight for. It becomes your culture. Either you have it or you don't. And as a staff, we fought for that all year. We have guys that can score. And so it's very difficult to get a guy who can score 18 to 20 a game to turn down a shot for a better shot. So there will be nothing that we ask our team to do tomorrow night that we haven't asked them to do all year, and that's why I believe we can get it done. I'm not guaranteeing it. I just believe.
Front row in the blue here.
Coach, as opposed to Michigan, you've played win-or-go-home basketball all last week in Reno, as opposed to a conference, you know, that gets at-larges and teams like Michigan. How is that a positive for you guys, and the games you had to grind out there, and then you head right here and you have to do the same thing?
I think it's our culture. We've played every game. For 33 games, it's been win or go home. Every time I'm in the locker room, every practice, every prep, every film session, we've treated it like an NCAA tournament game. So that when we got here, this wouldn't be any different than the other 33 games we've played. I didn't want to get here and then say, okay, now we got to play better. No, our conversation is just play the way we played for 33 games. Our defense will be the same. Our offense will be the same. I want the same guys to get the same shots they've been shooting all year long. And we just got to believe and stick together and fight. And whoever the hot hand is, that's who gets the ball.
One final question at all?
Thank you.
If not, thank you very much,
Go
Coach.
Grizz.
Best of luck tomorrow. At this time, will our microphone holders come up and